Welcome, I'm Bev Adams. I own an independent paper crafting business showcasing products from Stampin' Up. I made this card with products from Stampin' Up. I sell these products and also a few items to make crafting more convenient. I have the free detailed directions for this project on my website. I have a link and you can just download it for free and print it out for yourself. I also have links for the products that I used. If you'd like to buy those, you can just click those links and be taken to my online store at Stampin' Up. You'll see where to find all of that at the end of this video, so don't worry about taking notes. It's time to put stamps, ink, and paper together. I am using Handmade Hugs, kind of a fun stamp set, and it coordinates with our handmade tag punch. And I'm using boho blue ink. I'm using several pieces of cardstock. I have a quarter piece of boho blue that's 5.5 by 4.25. And then this piece is almost as wide, but I've got a little bit more of a blank area, and we're going to do some stamping on this. And then we have this beautiful luster paper. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, this is the luster paper, and it comes in the 23, 25 in colors. So this is boho blue. I have a piece of the Vellum Basics Specialty Designer paper. This particular one has some leaves printed on it. I have just a scrap of boho blue, and I have some pieces of basic white that will go through the punch. Oh, and this one is 2 3/4 by 4.25, which fits in here. I wanted to try a whole lot of different ways of using the punch. And so I'm going to start off by just stamping this part and doing a plain punch. So I'm going to use the boho blue, and I'm going to stamp "Today We Celebrate You." And then punch it out. And when I punch, I like to look at the back so I can see where I'm putting things. And so we can kind of line up "Celebrate" right in the middle. We're going to punch 2 more punches from this. And we're going to use these as this border. And we're going to cut from the bottom of this little V shape. We need 3 of those. Okay. And we also want to punch just 1 plain boho blue cardstock. I'm going to be stamping on this layer, but I'm going to be stamping it kind of at the diagonal with that part on the edge of the cardstock. And if you start right in the middle, you should end up being pretty even. And again, this is easier to do when you've got your head over the image. And then repeat that on this side. And if you don't get these exactly even, that's really okay. I'm noticing that this one's a lot lighter, so this ink does get lighter as it dries. And I think I stamped, yeah. And so we've got another layer in the center, and we're really just stamping around the edges. And I did stamp on this paper. It does take a little bit longer to dry, and we're going to be stamping this design in the corners. It comes with two of those designs, so it does fit in the punch, but I really only want one, so I'm going to put a sticky note in the middle so that when I stamp in the corner, this one will stamp on the sticky note. So while it is masking, it's pretty easy masking to do. And we'll let that dry. And then I think all my stamping is done, so let me put my ink away. If I've cut it correctly, this should be 2 5/16. So let me see if it's thin enough. I may have to cut this down. We're going to put it into the punch, but we're going to pull it up through the widest part of this pattern, and it looks like it is just barely fitting in. I want to pull it through until I can look down here and see the edge just peeking through. So I'm tipping it a little bit so you can see. So there's the edge, so I want to push it back in just a tiny bit. And I can line this up so it's straight as possible. I don't want this part off at an angle. And then I'm going to repeat and punch the other side. So I'm going to push this one in and pull out the punched piece. And so you could put this piece in and make it as long as you want it to. It could be the whole 12-inch piece or whatever. Next, I'm going to adhere these in as our border, and so I'm going to just kind of line those up and put adhesive. I'm going to put adhesive on the edges. Not a bad idea to let it dry for a little bit, but of course I don't tend to wait, so we'll just go with it. I'm going to move one of these up a little bit, and I want to put this pretty close to the middle. And then we'll put this one here, and I do have a little overlap, and that's fine. I don't mind the overlap, but I do like having that middle one over the top of it. So it is another reason why you want to start in the middle. And this one looks like I may want to move this over a little bit. No. And then we can put this onto our card base. So a little more adhesive on the edge here. Make sure those stay put. And on the sides and the top, we have a very small border, like so. Hopefully this is dry now. It looks like this is a little bit wet, so I really should let it dry. I'm going to try and avoid touching there. We'll see if I... And this gets kind of centered. The next layer is our vellum, and I can kind of see that it's curled a little bit, so I'm going to put this side this way so that if it curls, it'll actually hold it to the card. And I'm going to put adhesive in this middle part, and I'm going to use the tape runner. I prefer not to use a liquid because it might buckle the vellum a little bit. And I'm going to be covering that up so it doesn't matter if that shows through. So you can kind of see that the vellum, that the adhesive does show through. Yeah, so you can see that. So we want to cover that up. So our blue one we're going to be tipping this way, so it's more square instead of diamond. And we want to center that. I decided I wanted 10 inches of this ribbon. Putting some adhesive in the middle. Again, this will be covered up. And I'm going to head this way, and I'm aiming for these little corners. And I'm aiming to have that be right about there. Again, aiming for this corner. And it looks like I'm a little bit off here. Let me move it over a little bit. And if you keep the, if you don't want to really twist this, yes, we are technically twisting it, but that way we get kind of a nice loop here, and you can adjust this middle part. Oh, and I neglected to stamp this part, so let me get that out. And I really should have stamped this first before I punched it out. It'll be easier to get it centered, but I did pretty well this time. Yay. And I do want to put dimensionals on the back. So I've got different angles here, and the way this punch is, these kind of stick out a little bit more than here. And I like that kind of moon pattern in there. And I have some of these beautiful iridescent pearls. And I've got so much going on here. Usually I would have more than one, but I'm just putting one on here, just kind of at the end of my swirl under U, just right here. You could certainly put one on each of these if you wanted, if you want more, but I think just having that kind of simple design is good. And then I'm going to put this on the inside. That should fit just right in the center. You could certainly make that corner design down here, or maybe even these two corners, and that's fine. But that's it. Kind of a fun fold. You can make this card. Here is the web address for this project, where you'll find the free detailed directions and links for the products I used. Just click the links and you'll be taken to my online store at Stampin' Up! Click Home near the top of my page and you'll find lots of resources. Under Shop, you can find the products I offer to make crafting more convenient. How to get free products with my frequent shopper rewards, and a link to my online store at Stampin' Up! Click Inspiration to scroll all my projects back to 2011, most with detailed directions and videos. Though the products in those older projects have been retired, you may find techniques, layouts, or color combinations to inspire you today. If you're new to stamping, you might want to look at the basics. You'll find how to cut card bases and layers, and some of my favorite tools. Under Organization, you'll find lots of free resources such as catalog tabs, labels and case inserts, color tools, and much more. More organization means more time for stamping. You can learn about my Evernote notebook. I have a note for every current product that Stampin' Up! Has for sale right now. It really makes finding just exactly what you want very easy. And you can create your own notebook and search through all of the things that you own to find just what you need. Come stamp with me here in Ventura County, California, or get the best deal of all and join my team of crafters. The team is called SIP Together, and it stands for Stamps, Ink, and Paper Together. Be sure to subscribe to my website and on my YouTube channel. I'd love to hear your comments. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you soon.